Hi there, this is pressurewasher.com, and we wanted to do a unboxing video here of our latest test pressure washer. This is the Generac 3100 PSI electric stove, and just in terms of specs here, I'll zoom in. It's 3100 PSI, 2.5 GPM pounds per minute. A couple things that attracted us. This is basically a few dollars more than the older Generac model. This one actually comes with this push button electric start, which is pretty interesting considering it's just a little bit more than our top ranked Simpson pressure washer, but this has some interesting features that we wanted to check out. So first things first here is I did pull out of the box the charger, and we've got that going here. So it comes with a battery, and that's currently charging up. And the other thing to point out here, I've not yet put this together here, this does have a regular pull start, so if for whatever reason the battery was dead, we're going to be able to start it that way, so we'll be sure to test both things out here. Like I said, this just came out. Kind of continue to walk around here. You've got your 25-foot hose here. You've got the pressure washer gun here, and then again, one of the kind of innovative features that we've talked about here before is that you have the ability to dial up the PSI, from a lower level when you're washing the car to something that's a bit more intense. So that is there. This does come with this power broom attachment, so we'll kind of check that out. We've done some videos on the Simpson surface cleaner. This is a little different approach. The Simpson and other surface cleaners are round. This is more of a broom type approach. So we'll plug that in and just get a sense of how that works. Also, it did come with a foam cannon or something close to that. So this is a small attachment here for applying soap. It has a steel rod here, and then in terms of got a manual here with a couple other things. So the actual attachments are also in there, so we'll check those out in a minute. And then very similar to the Simpson, it does come with the handle separate. So in terms of setting this up, it's going to be pretty straightforward. There's a couple bolts in here. This is going to attach down, and then that's probably about it. We'll probably throw some oil in it, some gas, and then we'll be able to actually get this thing going. So from an assembly standpoint, again, pretty straightforward. This is everything that came in the box, along with the battery and charger there. So we'll jump right in here and see how this goes. Okay, we're back, and after we assembled this, so it came together pretty quickly. We'll just point out a few things here. So I mentioned before that there was some screws to attach to the handle that was actually wrong. There's just a quick release here that, where you attach it. The screws actually were some plastic like screws here that attach the holder of the gun here. And then again, I also had one other thing here for the hose. And I actually like the way this sets up. This hose is very supple and flexible, so it's very easy to wind up and put there. Now let's see what other things. I did go ahead and put the oil in over here. I will say the actual the opening here to open the oil a little tricky. In fact, I may have it upside down. I need to open it a little more. But it wasn't a screw top. It was kind of a partially kind of quick release, a slight turn, and then a pull. So I didn't find that super easy to open. Actually, it was fine to open, but to close it back up was a little tough. And then just getting the oil out, you'll see here that I did actually spill a little oil when I popped open the included oil. You just have to be careful that first little pour, so that it actually starts draining down or feeding down into the oil reservoir. Otherwise, it could have backed up and then overflowed. So that was a little messy. Other than that, I did go ahead and it's got a place here to put the nozzles in here. That was good into the handle area. So it came with 4 nozzles. So it came with the 4 nozzles. Got the hose. See that here? This does come with. I went ahead and took this out of the plastic bag, so you can see here. This again is a little different. The typical surface cleaner actually rotates around, so that's one of the things, and that's where you get that. There's 2 heads on it typically, and they're actually rotating and spinning. This looks like it's just going to be stationary, 4 jets coming out. So we'll we'll see how that works as well. It's pretty interesting. Again, it's included, so great value. And then this is the soap gun to apply soap. So we'll check that out too. I'm gonna go ahead and the battery goes back here. So the battery's not fully charged yet, but I'm gonna go ahead and it's a little. I will say this looks a little flimsy. If I had to give my initial assessment, it's just a kind of a basic top, so I don't know how that'll hold up over time. The battery just drops on there, so I'm gonna go ahead and put it in. I've got some other instructions here, just giving you a couple tips on how to check the oil, start it, that type of stuff. And over here, it looks like we've got some instructions on, looks like I'm possibly using the attachments and soap. So we'll kind of walk through those as well. But other than that, we're ready to go. I think again, this looks pretty good. There was some plastic around the wheels. One of the things we really like about the Simpson is it has the pneumatic wheels. Pneumatic wheels things they're like a wheelbarrow. These are just hard plastic, so they're not gonna give if you're trying to go over a curb or a step. So not quite as easy. And the general stance of this is that it's much more upright, whereas the Simpson again is going to have a lower kind of center of gravity. I don't know how that'll play out. We'll have to kind of test it out, how these move around, what the issues are. And then one more thing before we actually start it up, I just want to kind of come around the front to the starting area here. So you can see here that you basically have some instructions. And basically, you press the button once to, it's like 3 seconds to make it up. Start it for 1 second. For 1 second to stop. See exactly how that goes. But again, that was one of the things we kind of tracked it. And just as we're doing more of a comparison video against this and the Simpson that we tend to recommend as our first choice. And again, this is a great brand. Generac is a well-known brand. It's been around forever. The thing that we often talk about is that this has the Generac engine, whereas the Simpson is using a Honda engine. And so I think everyone knows just from Honda's reputation that their equipment is known to have great reliability. So you're not getting the Honda engine here. You're also not getting that lower wheel barrel stance that a lot of people like. But the trade-off here is you're getting something with a soap reservoir. The Simpson does not have a soap reservoir out of the box. You have to add that on. It's coming again with some extra attachments. We'll see how those work. But again, it's just nice to have out of the box. And then you are getting the electric start, which is, I think, for some people, going to be a nice feature, especially if you're not really wanting to yank on a cord to get your pressure washer started. It could be a nice option to get the power of the gas power, especially the 2.5 gallons per minute. And then at the same time, though, you don't have to pull on that cord to get it started. You do, of course, still have to deal with the gasoline engine, as I've already demonstrated here. You're going to get oil places, and you have to deal with gas, and so that's always a little bit of a hassle. And of course, they are louder. But if you have any decent-sized job that you're trying to do, you're gonna be back home or back inside so much faster if you're using the gas compared to electric. And I'm going to be demoing this, but you see this driveway needs to be cleaned up. My guess is that, it's certainly at a 2.5 gallons per minute rate with a higher pressure, you're at least doing that job twice as fast. So if you have anything more than the smallest patio, we always want to recommend that you go towards the gas, just because that's going to give you a lot more cleaning power. And the cleaning power we typically are multiplying that PSI by the gallons per minute. So you're going to have a lot more cleaning power with this versus something that's only really pushing out 1.4, 1.7 gallons per minute. If you think about that, that just means the amount of water coming out of that hose is going to be 2.5 gallons a minute here, and we're talking about something where it's going to be half of that coming out of typically your better electric, except for the Cransel, which is one of our prosumer picks. And the nice thing about the Cransel is that they actually are able to put a lot of water, so that's a fairly high gallon per minute. The pressure may not be quite as high as this one. So we'll show you some more videos here. I want to demonstrate the actual battery unit here. So I showed a minute ago that I was a little worried about this package and this box, and this lid definitely looks like it may not stand the test of time. We'll see. But just in terms of actually getting this unit in the pressure washer, all you got to do is just, since it's got a battery indicator here, so I've only partially charged this, but you can see I've got 2 bars. So I'm going to go ahead and insert this. There's a spring here, and I can kind of match up the 2 leads there on the battery with the back here. So I'm just going to simply slip this down in, push it down, close that. It's got a little latch there that you can close up. So that's that. So we're gonna gas it up, hook up hose here, and actually crank it up. Okay, we're all set up now. We got our hose attached. I tested out. We're actually getting some water flow. You want to make sure that's happening. We're gonna follow the instructions with the gas in. So basically, it says here that we want to hold down the button for 3 seconds to wake it up. Seems like that's 3 seconds. Now we want to hit start, so we're going to hit that. Okay, just wrapping up first impressions here. So I really liked this unit. I think it's a great addition to our selection on gas pressure washers. I think this is excellent for someone who is looking for, again, a great brand. This unit comes with pretty much everything you're going to need. I'll just quickly pan over here. I did a quick couple sweeps with the power broom that was enclosed. I didn't have a chance to do kind of a head-to-head against the surface cleaner that we've used before, the Simpson one. My sense is this was not quite as consistent. One thing I really liked about the surface cleaner is that, as long as you moved over at a roughly a very kind of a similar pace, that it really did have a very consistent cleaning. This felt like it was a little bit harder to get the same level of clean across the entire surface. So you end up with some of these kind of dirt streaks that you might see here. They'll probably be more prevalent when this dries. But you can just see there, this is probably maybe 3 or 4 minutes worth of work, and that's a really quick result here, and it looks great. The start unit worked perfectly. Again, I think we saw a little bit of oil. I'm wondering now, almost as I look at this, whether this was something intentional that Generac kind of put a lot of oil over the unit just for protection purposes, or if again something did leak through the box. I'm not 100% sure what happened with that. I might see if I can get some more information from Generac to better understand why we saw so much smoke on that initial start. We did not see that with the Simpsons, so even though I believe Simpsons says they start every unit before it goes in the box, I'm not sure what Generac does to get that information and update everybody. But again, the electric start I thought worked really well. We charged the battery for just a few minutes, maybe 10 minutes, and we got two bars. And again, it's fairly easy. You pressed it apparently for 3 seconds to wake it up. I think it actually woke up faster than that. Then you hold it for one second, or basically push it again. Cranked up. The auto choke worked flawlessly, as we saw in that first round. It did its thing and kept the engine running. And then at the end here, we just push the button again, and that shuts it off. So that was all very nice. The only thing, and I guess one more thing here to mention, I thought that the gun worked great. It was a little tricky to know which of these is high and low. I did have it on the broom setting, so that is a little odd. I'm going to get a little bit more data on that and share it with everyone. To know kind of obviously the thing on the left of the car, and it looks like the power broom the next. So it looks like the next one is the turbo nozzle, which is not included in this. And then the last one looks like a soap nozzle. So I'll have to just verify that to make sure you understand what those things are all about. One thing I did not love 100%, as you can see down here, that the actual hose goes in pretty low. And so this is also where you attach the pressure hose. And they're definitely hanging down there. I don't, know, you get to be a little careful about ramming this thing over a curb and potentially damaging some of that, because those are not as well protected as they are in the Simpson, where it's definitely higher up and away from much more ground clearance. So that's a little flimsy. And then again, I've mentioned this a couple times now, that this battery box seems a little flimsy. And again, you can tell here that as you're taking the hose off and wrapping it up, there is water in this area. So you want to make sure, obviously, that's closed. And then the last thing I want to note here is I really like this hose. The hose is really easy to wind up, and I actually like the way that they've got it hanging there. That's also very nice. So all good things. But again, just our first impressions here. This is a solid unit. The only kind of complaint that we would have is this does not have the Honda engine that you do on the Simpson. So whether that means this has got what the kind of long-term prognosis on the engine is, it's hard to say on day one. But certainly on day one, very impressive unit.